4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Happy Saturday morning, Nashville. Jake Lyman, Nick Kieser, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt. 4's Company brought to you by LPL Financial Nashville and Patrick Conger. Financial planning for tomorrow so that you can enjoy today. Gentlemen, it's good to be back in studio. This is my first time being
home
in studio for the show in almost a month.
Yeah.
So glad to be here. We got a fun show planned, lots of Titans talk. Training camp is underway for the Titans, started on Tuesday, and we've got practice at Nissan Stadium coming up later today for the Titans as well. So mostly Titans show today. We're going to talk some Olympics as well, as the opening ceremonies were last night. Lots to get to. Let's start with, actually, before headlines, hit the music.
What'd you have for nutrition? I think I'm up. I can't really tell.
You're up.
I'm up. Okay, there we go. My headphones weren't working.
You're up. Yeah.
What'd you have for nutrition?
Mini wheats.
Ooh.
Mini wheats.
Changed
That's a
it
good
up
one.
today. Yeah, this is a good one. I like to hit it early, get a quick little meal in before our shows. So there's mini wheats today. I've been hitting it hard on I wouldn't say healthy cereal, but
Right.
the more
Healthier cereal.
protein stuff.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mini wheats, that was a staple of elementary and middle school for me. That was
Put some
time.
banana in
Was
it.
it the one that was frosted?
Yeah, the blueberry frosted ones. Ooh.
I just got the regular.
Oh, you just had the regular
the
ones?
frosted, yeah.
See, as a kid, I used to crunch them up and then put frozen or not frozen yogurt, but yogurt on them and put them in the freezer and just make little mini wheat bars.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I was a creative little kid.
Very nice.
There we go. Nutrition. Getting into some great breakfast recipes for you listeners out there. If you want
the earliest nutrition we've ever had.
I wanted to get it out of the way because we got a lot to get to, obviously. Let's start with our headlines. Nick Frazier, why don't you get us going here?
Yes, my headline is the LPL Financial Middle Tennessee Athlete of the Week. It is Carly Wilson, 5'10" junior guard, out at basketball team in Tusculum University in Greenville, Tennessee. Grew up in the Donaldson area. Played for Oakland High School. Last season, she was named the team captain as a sophomore. That's pretty impressive for the Pioneers. And she averaged 9 points per game. That's also pretty impressive as a sophomore to kind of break through the starting lineup there. Let's see. She was also second on the team in rebounding and blocks. Off the court, she holds a 3.88 GPA. Wow, that's smart. And will graduate in 3 years. Again, smarter than me. Good job. Last season, Carly was named the NCAA Division II Academic All-District Team. Holy cow. Most importantly, she commits many hours in the community. Carly volunteers with the Second Harvest Food Bank and the Leukemia Lymphoma Society. Awesome shit. She's a camp counselor at the Youth Incorporated Ranch, and Carly tutors middle school students in math. So that's another subject that I'm not great at. So, Carly, great job. You are the Middle Tennessee Athlete of the Week.
And where's she go to school at?
She goes Tusculum University.
Yeah. Nice.
And this is sponsored by LPL Financial, Patrick Conger, for your financial planning so you can enjoy tomorrow.
Very nice.
Awesome stuff. Learned a lot about Carly. Learned a lot about Frazier's math skills and academic skills.
Shout out Miss Arnold, baby. She's the pride and joy of my math career. So thank you, Miss Arnold.
Now I wonder what our cumulative GPA is as a show.
That is true.
I mean, I graduated with a 3.75 from MTSU.
Okay.
But
that's about what I had too.
I was in the 3.8 range, somewhere around there. So we were all in the same ballpark, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Connor, what you got right now?
He doesn't know.
He's thinking.
As he talks about himself in the third person.
I think I have a 3.6.
Good for you.
I'm dumber than all of you, but
hey, you have a lot more, tarmac to work with.
Yeah, you
I
got
got
time
one
here.
I got
You can
one
keep
more
running.
Gen Ed.
Hey,
And
as Jeff Foxworthy says, are you smarter than a fifth grader? And I think you are. So it's okay.
Soon to
I
be
hope
Travis
so.
Kelsey, by the way.
I'm sorry.
They're rebooting that show
Really?
on
Wow.
Amazon, and Travis Kelsey is
I
going to
did
be
not
the
know
host.
that.
Interesting stuff.
The more you know.
Going through our headlines here on this Saturday morning on 4's Company, getting off the rails a little bit early here. You can get involved as well. Text or call 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Nick Kieser, what is your headline today?
Yeah, really quickly, the 2020 NFL quarterback draft class has now accumulated over $1.25 billion. And I just wanted to throw that out there because that class consists of players like Joe Burrow, Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, Jordan Love, and Jalen Hurts. So you can rank those however you want with whatever quarterback you like. But I thought that was intriguing to see that there are a lot of guys getting their bag right now. Obviously, Jordan Love, most recently last night. Then right before that was Tua, who quote unquote broke his news first, by the way. Heard that on Stillman and Company yesterday. But yeah, all these guys getting paid. And this is a very deep draft class that can just continues to showcase why they were so special out of the gates. So there you go.
It is crazy to look at a draft class where the first 5 quarterbacks all got massive $200+ million deals. Like, think of some of the other ones. 2021, a year later, Trevor Lawrence is the only one who's gotten a deal. Everybody else is on a second team at this point. So cool stuff to see all those guys get paid, despite maybe our opinions on whether they should have gotten paid. I'm not a huge fan of the Tua contract. I think that Dolphins fans may not like this. I think if they took Ryan Tannehill back, I think they would probably have the same shot at winning a Super Bowl as Tua Tagovailoa.
That's fair.
With the weapons that he has around him, like Ryan Tannehill, when he was on the Dolphins, never had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So I'm not a huge fan of that contract. Jordan Love, I like the player, but is the track record there
I don't know,
to
maybe
get $55 million?
Apparently, you can play half of a good season and get paid. I don't even think he's the best QB in his division.
Could it be a bargain, though, at some point because of the market? That's my thought.
Yeah, you could look back at that 3 years down the road and be like,
Maybe.
man, we got him early. But, man, like, is CJ Stroud? I guess it's probably too early for Stroud after this year.
Too
I think
early.
you've got to wait 3 years. But, like, I don't know. It seems like all it takes is one good year where you show the team that you've got a little bit of potential, that you could be the guy, and they're like, take all of my money.
That just
Take
shows
all of it.
that just shows how important the quarterback position is. Though.
Yeah.
Because like if one slip of a finger where your quarterback's hurt for 3-4 weeks, you're calling a guy like Joe Flacco off the couch.
Or
Should be Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah. Did you guys know that? I don't know if you listened to that interview, the fly fishing and then also fishing underwater, by the way. He was
spearfishing.
Scoop City podcast. We'll talk about Tannehill later probably. But yeah, yesterday listening to that interview, I found that interesting that he has that capability.
He's got some interesting hobbies.
Yeah.
Spearfishing. He's a pilot. Like Ryan Tannehill, a man of many different talents. Connor Newt, I promised a month ago when the last time I was in studio that you would stop going last on things. So Connor, what's your headline?
I can't believe you remembered that. Yeah, I want to talk about let's talk about these coaching press conferences that have been happening this week. Deshaun Foster, we'll start with. I don't have the clip in front of me. I really don't want to.
I don't want to
have
hear
that
it
one.
again.
It's a minute and 12 seconds of obviously his opening statement. He's hi. We're at UCLA. We're in LA. So is USC. Any questions? And it's like a minute and 12 seconds of just pure awkward. I was like, what is this guy doing? Not the best opening statement of all time. The best one belongs to Mike Leach a couple years ago. I believe it was his last SEC media days.
Yes.
He gets up, dry heaves, and says, any questions? So that one was great. And then we go to the NFL. Jim Harbaugh talks about how football is just as great as being in the womb and being born. I don't have any memories of being in the womb, but hey, to each their own. Jim Harbaugh. I don't have that clip in front of me either. And again, I don't
know if we want to hear it.
Oh, I don't think so. The loins, though. The loins.
Jim Harbaugh's a weird dude. And it's like John, I feel like, is a pretty normal guy. Like John Harbaugh, it seems like he's pretty straightforward. Like you don't get too many odd comments from him, but Jim just out there all the time.
Very strange. Didn't he like have a Winnebago or something, and he was hanging out in some sort of stadium parking lot or something like that?
Yeah, something like
trying to treat it like the Madden bus or something.
No, it was, I think, when he was suspended the first few weeks of the college season, he was in an RV and they went from stadium to stadium, I think, for the road games that he missed. I believe that's the story, but I remember he was at least hanging out in an RV for the games that he could not coach.
I think you're right.
And he tailgated. So
he seems like the kind of guy to wear a nightgown and a cap to bed.
Yeah, he does. He kind of looks like a younger version of Ebenezer Scrooge from the Christmas Carol.
Took the words
I
right.
cannot unsee that now.
The one that came out with like Tom Hanks, like
yes.
Or no, Tom Hanks was
Tom
Polar
Carey?
Express.
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Yeah.
Yeah.
That one. Yes.
Someone from Hollywood.
We'll have to look back like
the
20
white and
years
blue
from now.
cap and the white
Tom
and blue
Yeah,
cap.
yeah.
He said Tom Carey.
Carrey.
Listen, I got up at 2 a.m. today. Don't ask me why. It was
NRL, baby.
a little bit of that, a little bit of Olympics, but I just really couldn't sleep well. But
Mm.
overall, we're good.
That's okay.
Well, speaking of Olympics, that's my headline. The opening ceremonies last night got a little weird out there in Paris, but
Yeah.
we'll move past that as well. We don't need to revisit that. Lots of good stuff coming up the next 2 weeks. I love the Olympics. It is disappointing the time difference where most of the live stuff isn't going to be in prime time. Like you're going to get stuff at 2 or 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. And a lot of the primetime stuff is at 2 in the afternoon,
Yep.
which during the week is a little bit challenging for a lot of people.
Mhm.
Nice on the weekends, like Sunday afternoon, you can watch some of the big swimming and running and all that stuff. But I'm excited for this, which gets us to our question of the day. We want to know, what is your favorite Olympic event? Cannot be basketball or soccer. And we'll say summer Olympic event because it's Summer Olympics.
Are we
It's
sticking
fair.
to Summer Olympics?
Yes, Summer
Okay.
Olympics. No basketball, no soccer, because those are just
Yeah.
they're
Those are
too
gimmies.
mainstream. We'll say no golf either. No golf too.
Really? No golf.
No,
Okay.
no mainstream. We need like
Thank you.
Olympic sports,
Okay.
like track and field. You can say just track and field, or you could be specific. The 100-meter dash, swimming, volleyball,
One you could-
gymnastics.
Yeah. One you could say water polo, badminton, apparently,
Rugby sevens, which we were
Rugby
watching before we
sevens.
went on air.
table
So
tennis.
we want to hear from you. We'll give our answers coming up in hour number 2. You can text or call 615-737-1025. Let us know what's your favorite Olympic event. And if you got a cool story from the last couple of Olympics or whatever of watching that event, we'd love to hear that as well.
Got an oddball for you. So
Yes.
Be prepared.
Yes, exactly. We'll get to that coming up at 10 o'clock with our answers, but feel free to call or text whenever you have the chance. We'd love to hear from you. 4's Company here on this Saturday morning. We've got some Titans talk coming up next. Training camp is underway. We've got practice coming up at Nissan Stadium later on today. We're going to give our general takeaways from the first week of camp. A lot of players out there on the field that we were wondering about. A couple players getting hurt. We heard from Brian Callahan. We'll get to that coming up next. 4's Company, Saturday mornings here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. Tune in to 94.9 The Fan today as the Nashville Sounds take on Charlotte. Pregame at 5:50, first pitch at 6:05. Coverage also available on 94.9 The Fan app and at 949thefan.com. Sounds baseball on 94.9 The Fan, presented by Twin Peaks Family Leisure, 5 Points Roofing, Caudle Vet Clinic, and Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning. Jake Lyman, Nick Heiser, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt with you, 4's company here on this Saturday morning. We're going to get into some Titans here, but again, our question of the day is, what is your favorite Olympic event? Do you have any stories from it? And we do have a caller on the line. Our good friend Adam in Portland wants to chime in. Adam, what do you got for us on the Olympics?
Yeah, so I look at it as like, what's the event that I actually look for the schedule for? And it's swimming, just because I think, like, I don't know, it was a few months ago, somebody on one of their shows, I think it was Joe and Chase's show, where they were talking about the GOAT, and they're like, tell me a GOAT of a sport that you just, people don't always talk about. Katie Ledecky, dude, like, every time she goes out, she sets a record.
Yep.
Like, if she doesn't set a record, it's a disappointing day for her. Her gold medals are, like, incredible. I don't even think Phelps, and I'm not comparing the two because I don't know enough about it, but I don't think he's done as much as she has. Plus, if you look at it, like, across all of the people who are the best at their sport, it's not like she's 6'7", dude. She's a 5'0" little woman that's just worked her butt off her whole life, and she's the best, dude. Like, and I think Americans should look at her and just be super proud that she's American. Like, she just crushes it. So I watch it. Every time she's in the pool, man, I watch it.
Appreciate the call, Adam. That's a very good point. Lots of must-see TV athletes. He mentioned Michael Phelps. He was definitely that guy for a couple of Olympics. But Katie Ledecky, Simone Biles, like athletes that do things that you just can't even fathom out there.
And they also, I don't know if you saw this video that they put out about Katie. Katie balanced chocolate milk on her head swimming in the pool. This came out about a month ago. I'm not kidding. This actually happened. I'll show you guys at the break. But Katie balanced milk and did freestyle all the way down the pool. It was awesome.
Some of these athletes, you can't really gather how impressive it is on TV. I'm sure being there in person, you realize how fast these humans are going in the pool, or Simone Biles. Gymnastics, it's a little easier to fathom because you're watching them do things and get so much air and like so much strength that I couldn't even consider doing some of the stuff that they're doing. But swimming, I'm sure in person, you're like, oh my goodness, they're so much faster than I thought they were.
Yeah, they're like dolphins and sharks and whatever fish is. What are they called? Barracudas. Barracudas are the fast fish out there.
Great song, by the way.
Yeah, great song. You're right. But no, Katie Ledecky is phenomenal in the water. It's honestly some of the most fun I have is watching the swim and dive teams, and obviously the freestyles and what the breaststroke and what not the back. They don't do a backstroke, do they?
I think they do all of it.
They do all
and then
of
they
it,
do
yeah.
like the medleys and the relay. The relays are so much fun. I was looking at a clip, I think it was from London 2012, where it was that like super team swimming with like Phelps and Ryan Lochte and all those guys. And it's just electric seeing like Michael Phelps doing the butterfly, like just barely passing the guy from Great Britain. I can't wait to watch some swimming this week.
I want to see Sha'Carri Richardson in
Yeah.
action. I mean, I am just pumped because she missed out on the last Olympics. And obviously, like you were saying, the live prime time is going to be around 2-3 in the morning. So if people want to watch it, it's going to be pretty early. So I'll get up for it. I don't mind it. I want to see her get a gold medal in 200.
I got women's water polo on right now.
Hey,
USA is absolutely dominating Greece right now, 12-3.
Oh,
Let me
wow.
say this real quick about the Olympics. A lot of the groups that the U.S. are in for the group stage, I don't want to say they're cupcakes, but they're pretty close to it.
The Olympics is strange because like soccer, right? Nobody over 23 can play, right? Is
Only 3 senior players.
okay? 3 senior players.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I had seen somewhere it was like it's a very adjusted roster.
Right.
Basketball is obviously not the case. You've got like a full NBA squad there, but
And that's not even a guarantee for them either.
no,
I
there's some
mean-
really good teams this year. Like Canada is super talented.
Lots
They're
of
in-
Wildcats on
They're
that
in the
team,
group
too.
of death,
Yeah,
by the way.
Shy.
Jamal,
Yep.
former Vol.
Yep.
Um,
And they've got Serbia on Sunday.
Real
Yeah.
quick, I got a text on my personal text line from my sister. She's God, I feel so dumb not knowing her age on the air. She's probably listening.
No need.
She says her favorite is Simone Biles. With her on the bar, she is so cool. He. So,
Sister Newt chiming
shout out
in.
Sister Newt,
Love
knowing
it.
Simone Biles in gymnastics.
Gymnastics, I think it's the most impressive that I watch, where I'm just like in awe of what these people are doing, like the men and women, but the woman especially, like Simone Biles and Suni Lee and all of these athletes. They are absolutely ridiculous, the strength that they have. I'll have to look at the schedule for that. I think they get started either today or tomorrow.
I think Sunday.
So
is one of those
sometime
days.
soon. We'll continue to talk about some of the better Olympic events. And again, that's our question of the day. What is your favorite Olympic event? You can text or call 615-737-1025. Let's get into some Titans talk here. Training camp began on Tuesday officially. Wednesday was the first practice. We've gotten to hear from Brian Callahan a few times. We've gotten to hear from some athletes. And let's start with some injury news, because I think that was the big question heading into training camp, was who's going to be out there. And we learned early in the week that Colton Dowell, Nicholas Petit-Frere, they were the only two going on the PUP list. L'Jarius Sneed and Tavondre Sweat out there for day one, which was, I think those were the two big question marks for the Titans. But L'Jarius Sneed not out there for day two. Want to talk a little bit about this. Here is what L'Jarius Sneed had to say about the way that they're approaching things with his knee.
Are you guys going to do it just kind of like a day by day, like how you feel thing, or is it?
No, they have a plan for me. They have days where I just, did what I did today, and days that I just practice. It's a pretty good schedule that they got me on.
What have you got to accomplish, I guess, over the next 6 weeks to be peaking for week one?
I mean, I'm healthy. I just got to maintain it. Just get that to week one. That's all I'm trying to get to.
How does the knee feel if you're healthy? I guess just how.
My knee feel great.
Okay.
Absolutely, it feel great.
Why do you feel the need to keep the limitations if you're healthy?
Because the procedure that I'm having, the things that I got going on with me, and
So L'Jarius Sneed saying his knee feels great, but also has had procedures of some sort and needs to continue to be on this rest and recovery plan. How much concern does this give you guys that he says he's feeling fine, but clearly something has to be at least a little bit off if he's going to be missing some practice?
I mean, if we're having issues about injuries now and it's only training camp, that's a problem. I mean, obviously Chidobe Awuzie with the calf strain.
Yeah, it makes you even more nervous about L'Jarius Sneed, because now his running mate at cornerback is out for the foreseeable future, at least.
Yeah, for a couple weeks, few weeks, I think what Brian Callahan was saying. But like for L'Jarius Sneed's, that's a tongue twister. For L'Jarius Sneed's, I was gonna say steak, right? Something like that.
Sake.
Gosh,
Okay.
a lot of S's.
A lot of
Excuse
S's.
me. Anyways, for that purpose, it's concerning. It really is. And the fact that, he's on a regiment, which is a good thing. Yeah, if you're on a regiment, that's great. But if you look at this secondary now and whatever they use Jamal Adams as, I mean, I don't know if you guys heard his press conference, but the man was in a wheelchair for a little bit.
Yeah, he was.
Jamal Adams. I mean, he said football really humbled him and the game may not really love him back the way he thought it would. And so the fact that he's out here really trying to earn a spot is impressive and it's courageous, but at the same time, man, you got a lot of injuries to overcome. Just
Mostly in the secondary.
Yeah. Like Jamal Adams, L'Jarius Sneed, Chidobe Awuzie. I mean, your top three guys you're going to rely on in a roundabout way this season.
Not to segue away from L'Jarius, but you mentioned what are they doing with Jamal Adams? I was out there this week. So Jamal, they were actually playing at a nickel position, and they had, never mind.
What do you mean? Never mind.
They're just playing them in
Okay.
different spots, is what you're saying.
Yeah, they're just trying to
Moving him
figure it
around.
out. Yeah, trying to figure it out. How does he mute himself? But anyway, no, he's talking back to Frazier. But no, I have one concern that kind of comes to mind, at least, guys, because if L'Jarius is, trying to figure out what's best for him, I do have one thing I want to circle back with that he said at the end of that clip. So, Connor, can you play the back half of that clip one more time for me?
How does the knee feel if you're healthy? I guess just how.
My knee feel great.
Okay.
Absolutely, it feel great.
Why do you feel the need to keep the limitations if you're healthy?
Because the procedure that I'm having, the things that I got going on with me, And,
So
you know,
right there with that, I don't know if that means there is something coming up for him that he has to do before the season starts. We know that there is previous issues. I get that. So what does that mean? And I was debating this in the car yesterday with my wife, and we were talking about what this means. And I also have a friend of mine that does PT, and he does physical exercise rehab with athletes in college, and he's got his master's in that. And it's more of, it sounds like he's rehabbing constantly to make sure he is ready to play games, because there was no concern with him in Kansas City. He just didn't do training camp. He didn't practice as often, but he was in the games. I think that's going to be the biggest difference here is he's trying to have a regimen now. I think he's trying to get back to 100%, but my concern is, can he keep that level at the same, at least goal of consistency that he wants? I don't know, but that's going to be, I think, a hamper on what he's trying to be this entire season.
Well, Brian Callahan said they talked to the Chiefs about the way that they had L'Jarius Sneed practicing and what they had him do each week to be ready for game day. So at the very least, I think the Titans have a plan for him. It is just interesting to hear in back-to-back sentences, my knee is fine, and procedures that he's had.
He did make it clear that they had a regimen for him in Kansas City, and it's kind of carrying over to Tennessee. Like the trainers are working together, it sounds like, from what he said. So,
and if he's the same player he was in Kansas City, I think the Titans will be pretty pleased with the player that they're getting.
We'll all be pretty pleased.
The only thing I think to take away from that is if you hear L'Jarius Sneed say that about, like, he's had procedures this past offseason on his knee. I'm curious to know if he had that the previous season as well. Like if that's just a normal routine, little small surgery of like a knee cleanup.
I think it's
both
summers. Something like that.
Because like if that is the case, then I'm not as worried. But if it isn't the case of where he just had an actual little knee cleanup this year, but he's been doing the regimen at Kansas City like he's doing here, then it's a small concern.
Yes, you hope that it's the same exact thing that's been happening for him, and he's just continuing his same rhythm,
right,
instead of a new procedure or something popping up. I do want to mention before we hit the break, Brian Callahan saying injury news out loud and not hiding it from us is really refreshing to hear.
Another OBB in Nashville. Open book Brian.
It felt like we were in Bizarro world a little bit there. I was watching that press conference live and hearing him say, Cheeto's going to be out for a couple of weeks with a calf injury. Like, how hard is that to say as a coach?
That was the very first thing he said, too. He said, before we get started, I'll preface this, Harold is out with sickness. Cheeto's out with a calf injury for a couple weeks. And then we went on.
Brunskill as well. Like, that was awesome.
Like, it is nice to just get an open book and just say, here is what's happening. Because is that really too hard to say that Cheeto's got a calf thing and he's going to miss a few weeks, instead of, we don't know, it's lower body, could be back tomorrow, could be back in 6 weeks, we don't know. Like, I know Vrabel didn't say that, but that's kind of the way that he would try and approach it, is like try and give as little information as possible.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Brian Callahan just saying, like, what's the harm in letting the media know, hey, this guy's going to miss a few weeks.
I just look at this as two different styles of mind games where you don't specify the injury. You're like, oh, that's a mind game. But with Brian Callahan, it's like, if you say exactly what it is, it's almost like psyching out your opponent, even with saying the truth. I know that sounds weird for me to say, but like, I look at it as another form of a mind game. And I don't know. I feel like it makes other people overthink what's going on.
That's true. Maybe the reverse psychology of it. But I'm happy to hear, not happy to hear that Chidobe Awuzie is hurt. We hope that he's back as soon as possible. But I'm happy to hear that Brian Callahan is being straightforward in his media availabilities as well. We'll keep talking about Titans training camp coming up next. Talk about what we could see in the next week. The pads are coming on next week. We've got practice at Nissan Stadium. What do we want to see from the Titans coming up in week 2 of training camp? That's up next. 4's Company here on this Saturday morning, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Join 102.5 The Game and Chase McCabe at Bicentennial Park in Nashville today from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. as Subway's 3 dip-in slides take over the park. Brave a 37-foot drop through a 22-foot of ranch.
I mean, go big or go home, right? I
Zach
mean,
sauce, baby.
Yeah, pool of Zach sauce as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
cane sauce. I had that the other day, but
Head out there. The suit's out there starting in about 30 minutes
Yep.
for those Subway 3 dip and slides. Talking some Titans here on 4's Company. Training camp started this week. A lot to look forward to as well. We were just talking about some of the injury news with L'Jarius Sneed on a regimen to get him ready for play for the regular season. Chidobe Awuzie out a few weeks. Tavondre Sweat out there on the field for the first 2 days. But the pads come on next week, and we're excited for that. Practice at Nissan Stadium today out in front of the fans. That should be fun. Is it usually this early that they
No,
have?
it's not.
I
I don't
feel like
think
it's
it
usually
is.
like week 2.
It's usually like in the middle of training camp for the
like
most
right
part.
before preseason starts.
Yeah,
is
last
usually what
year
I
I
thought.
was at St. Thomas Sports Park, and that's where it was last year. It never was at Nissan Stadium
Gotcha.
last year. So I was out there with actually Parker Kelly, who works here at 102.5 The Game. We were out there last year. He wanted to go, so we got him out there, and that was when the fans got to come out and watch. I was there for that one. It's packed whenever that happens, and they probably clamored to have a bigger space so fans could go watch.
Yeah.
And this is a big team to keep tabs on right now, especially with all the moves and the new coaches. So I think with it being at Nissan Stadium, it makes a lot of sense.
Well, if you're headed out there, Brian Callahan, I believe, said the practice today is expected to be similar to what it's been like the first 2 days.
Yeah.
So some 7-on-7, a couple of full team, but the CBA states they're not allowed to put the pads on yet.
Yeah.
I believe it's 8 days of ramp up, 7 or 8 days.
So we'll probably see around Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, sometime mid next week, we should see the pads come on. What are we hoping to see when the pads do come on? Because I know guys out there in the shells or whatever they call it, I think
The Guardian caps.
yeah, whatever they're wearing right now,
Right.
you can get a decent idea of what guys look like, and the 7-on-7 stuff is pretty real, but you don't really get a vibe for what the team's going to look like till the pads come on. What are you guys hoping to see?
I mean, honestly, I'm hoping to see players healthy after the first crack of the pads. I mean, that's been the big issue with the Titans the last couple seasons is the availability of players. And so it just, excuse me, just looking at the roster. I mean, also the chemistry. That's the second thing I'm looking for is just players to kind of get the groove down. Obviously, this is kind of the period to do so with all that. But would love to just see what the down the field passes are going to look like from Will Levis, because Brian Callahan emphasized that they're just working on the short game stuff, not trying to hurt anybody's hamstrings and stuff like that. So would love to see what the over the top deep threat looks like.
We have yet to see a deep ball through 2 days of training camp.
They're just
I can tell you that.
They said nothing vertical, right? Like that's what they've been saying is nothing vertical. Don't want anybody running 9 routes out there.
Been
And
lots of halfback, dump offs and short slant routes to the slot. But yeah, I'll get into this later in about, 10 minutes when the speaker takes the podium. But
That's right.
it's been lots of short routes to Tyler Boyd or to Chigakonkwo, which has been really impressive to see Levis kind of build that connection, especially with Chig. I always love when a quarterback and a tight end have a tight connection. It works well. You've seen it with the Chiefs. You're seeing it with the Lions, Sam Laporta and Jared Goff. It's just Levis looks a lot more comfortable. So I'm curious to see how comfortable he is when the pads come on and he's got a pass rush coming after him full force.
And we'll get to the Pete Prisco article on Will Levis later on in the show. But Pete Prisco also mentioned Josh Wiley as a guy who stood out to him. So the Titans didn't make a move at tight end this year. They stuck with Chig and Josh Wiley. Maybe those two guys take a big step, and that's a solid tandem for Tennessee. I think the one thing I want to see when the pads come on is J.C. Latham. because everything that JC Latham has done so far has, I mean, it's been exceptional. I don't think there's anybody could complain about JC Latham's work ethic or what he's done in the media. I talked to Chasing Big Joe earlier this week. You can find that on the podcast. I have loved everything I've seen from JC Latham, but I want to see when the pads come on, can he shut down Arden Key or Harold Landry or Rashad Weaver, who are all three very different types of edge rushers. I want to see what JC Latham looks like. We've already heard from Packers camp that Andre Dillard is having a very tough time in training camp.
It's a no surprise.
Yeah, I guess a Packers reporter tweeted like, Rashawn Gary is having a day. He's just burned by Andre Dillard on back-to-back snaps. And all the Titans reporters are quoting it like, does somebody want to tell him? Like,
well, when you have a guy who can't block a middle schooler, I'm sure that'll go well for the Packers.
They don't have an all pro guy on the defense. Okay, it's just that's Andre Dillard.
Well, Rashawn Gary is a good player, but like, I think I could get by Andre Dillard if you if you ask me to. Not seriously, but I can't wait to see JC Latham. I think he is, outside of Will Levis, he is probably the second most important piece of this offense this year. If he has a good year, the Titans immediately will take a much larger step forward on the offensive side. So I can't wait to see what he looks like when the live bullets start flying next week.
And I think for me, one person that we've heard a lot about, I would say this week, and guys that have had eyeballs on him at least, and I know that linebacker is something that we're hoping works out for the team this year. Kenneth Murray, I think, is the name that comes to mind for me. You have Camp Darling as a question mark for us, who stands out. I don't know if he's the Camp Darling so far. I mean, Newt could probably crown one if he has one, but I think Kenneth Murray would be someone that stands out early for me, especially when the pads come on, because it feels like this is a fresh and great clean slate opportunity for a guy that maybe didn't do very well with the Chargers, that is hoping that Nashville is a great place to, 180 in his entire career. Just go, hey, this is a new spot for me. Let's see how this works out. And he's brought a lot of juice with his answers so far. And he's ready to make a big impact so far. That's at least what he told Chase, or no, not Chase and Big Joe. I'm going back to the Latham interview, but he was actually talking with Joe Rexrode and TD. And I think Paul Kaharski was in that scrum too, but that was a great scrum. And I got a lot from that. So hopefully he's able to, dictate the pace and understands that he could be a big role on this team for sure.
First round talent out of Oklahoma, guy who had like 25 tackles in one game or something with the Sooners. So excited to see what he does with the change of scenery. Talking about Camp Darling, Newt, do you have somebody who stands out like Colin McCarthy or like Mason Kinsey, who never really ends up playing a huge role on Sundays, but like everybody gets fired up about him in camp?
Yeah. I think this guy will make the team for sure, just simply because of he's a rookie. But Jaquan Jackson has been a stunner for me. He's been taking a lot of third team, some second team reps, but he's been open. He's always open. And I know they're working on short slants and whatnot, but when he finds a hole, he's down the field and he's to the house. And granted, they're not hitting each other. They're not sending the houses at him, but he's fun to watch. And if I had to guess, I would think he's going to be probably the kick returner to start week one, probably on special teams. I can't really see him getting into the mix on offense, especially with a loaded wide receiver room. But to use the term you just used, he's been an absolute darling to watch. I mean, I haven't seen Mason Kinsey, honestly. I don't even know if he's still on the roster.
He always is. He's a cockroach. They can't get rid of him.
He's like Nick Westbrook-Akine is another one. I know he's not necessarily he doesn't fit your description of Camp Darling, but I will never count him out. He is always there.
Yes. Until the end of time, NWI will be on the active roster and Mason Kinsey will be on the practice squad. It'll be 2086 and Mason Kinsey will be elevated for week 11 against the 49ers or whatever it is.
Could you imagine? I'm having trouble with this mic, but could you imagine if that were to happen?
That dude, he went to like D3 Berry College in Georgia or something like that, and he just finds a way to stick around. Respect to him. I mean, he has carved out 4 or 5 years now on the practice squad, something like that.
But Crazy. He knows the system. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
He knows
Get that gold jacket for him.
Like Logan Woodside.
I mean, you can't really expect him to make the roster like Connor said. I think if you had to put money down, I think your 6 wide receivers are Hopkins, Ridley, Boyd, Burks, NWI, Jaquan Jackson. Like if I would guess those are the 6. Maybe you get a 7th, but Mason Kinsey's not going to make the roster. But just like he does every year, he'll get through waivers. And
I would
he will
throw
end up on the
Julius
practice squad.
Chestnut in that Darling conversation
Yeah.
too. He's a guy kind of like Mason Kinsey, always finds a way to make the roster. I think he'll probably get in as the 3rd back.
Yeah,
Probably.
Chestnut and Hassan Haskins seem to
Hassan,
be
yeah.
the battle for RB3 behind Pollard.
There's also
and
been some
Spears.
talk about John Ajokwu too.
Yeah, at right tackle. With no Nicholas Petit-Frere, it seems like he's taking advantage of his opportunity.
Yeah, man. I think that would be one to keep tabs on for sure. You want a good right tackle. They really need depth there. Hopefully with Dylan Rainitz, hopefully he's reliable somewhat, but I'm not too privy on the idea of him being an everyday starter moving forward for years to come necessarily. But as long as they have depth there, and then also PT's not, available either. So that's a problem.
Did seem like he is at least close to coming back. So maybe
Yeah.
next week we see Nicholas Petit-Frere, aka
PT.
back on the field.
They wanted me to do that yesterday on Fan Run, and I was like, I can't do it. That's a
That's
Jared and Ian.
Yeah,
thing.
that's Ian Safar has that trademarked, I think. Well, that's our thoughts on Titans camp. When we come back, 9:45. You know what that means. It's time for Newt's Notes, and the speaker will give his thoughts. He's been out there at Titans training camp for the first couple of days. He will give his big takeaways. Coming up next, 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
I will teach you how to get your keister stomped in by the man they call the megastar. Yeah, and no matter what classroom you sit in, the curriculum's always the same, with everybody saying, yeah, now hit that music.
An advanced intro for Newt's Notes this morning. Well done, Connor Newt. Jake Lyman, Nick Keyser, Nick Frazier, 4's company. And as we wrap up hour number one, as we always do, the speaker takes the floor. Go ahead, Connor.
Thank you, guys. Let me talk to you in a civilized manner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So as you referenced, I had the opportunity to go out there this week and hang out with the Titans, be around for training camp, get to see some stuff. And I got some takeaways. So I'm going to give you 3 positives and 3 negatives heading into, well, not heading into anything, really just my takeaway of the 2 days I was out there. So in all, we're no Jared Stillman. We'll start with the positives. Number 1, Bill Callahan is fun to watch, and he is an electric coach. He's so little. I think he's like 5'8", 5'9", but that voice carries across the entire field. He rips into those guys, man. There was at one point, they were doing a team play, and he pulled Dylan Radins aside and said some choice words I can't say over the air, but Radins turned bright red and got right back out there and, yeah, good job, Dylan. It was awesome. And I think this really just plays into the Bill Callahan as an offensive line guru thing we've been told, and I can confirm based on what I've seen, the coaching style is there. He's to say electric would be an understatement.
That true tough love coach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, it's just so much fun. Number 2, L'Jarius Sneed, T'Vondre Sweat are on the field. That's good. Full participants the first day. L'Jarius Sneed was out Thursday, but T'Vondre Sweat was in there. He was getting reps, and I told you last week I wanted to see him right next to Big Jeff in every drill. Guess where he was? They were running pass rush drills. T'Vondre Sweat second, Jeffrey Simmons first. Go. On the line together, Jeffrey Simmons in the middle, T'Vondre Sweat right next to him. Go. Love to see it. T'Vondre Sweat, welcome to the team.
They ate lunch together?
That I don't know.
Hope they did.
They didn't do media together.
Are they carpooling?
Maybe. I've been hearing they're playing college football in the locker room thanks to JC Latham. So
love it.
I'm hoping. Also, while we're on T'Vondre Sweat, he did fire back at Tennessee and say Texas is the real UT and that Tennessee is on their SEC high. And I'm like, T'Vondre, you're in the SEC now, buddy. Anyways.
Welcome to the South.
Number 3, positive. Ryan Stonehouse, back from injury, still has a boot. And not like a health boot. I mean a metaphorical boot. He's punting and it's gone. He looks just as good, if not better than ever. And I firmly believe, I kind of joke about this, but Ryan Stonehouse may be the best player on this roster.
Your local real estate agent, Ryan Stonehouse.
Oh, yeah. He's fun to watch, man. For open periods, of course, you know how practice works. You can only talk and film about so much. But open period, the first day, you can go look at my Twitter at @C_Newt15. I posted a video of Stoner getting some work in, and man, he punted it maybe 45 yards. I'm not even joking. It was incredible. So that's the positives. Now let's get to the negatives. Tony Pollard. First day, not great.
I know. Yeah, I know where you're going with this because you texted us.
I did text you guys this. Pollard did not look great. He looked better his second day. His first day, especially in first team, did not look good. I think he fumbled a total of 3 times throughout team.
Yikes.
It was not good. And which is kind of counters Tajay Spears, who's been all I wanted to see. He's been electric. He's one of those guys. I mean, I hammer it home. He finds a hole. He's gone to the house. He's that shifty, that fast. But Tony Pollard, on the other hand, I think he'll figure it out. But I kind of like him as the number 2 back right now. I like Tajay as kind of the workhorse here. I like Pollard as the number 2. And I think based off last season with the Cowboys, you kind of saw what Pollard is capable at running back 1. And let's just say the serving size isn't that impressive. Nothing great. It's been It's been the Tajay Spears show for me at running back throughout camp.
You're saying Pollard has a limit to what he can do at RB1.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Which is why I didn't really get why they gave him $8 million a year, because I felt like Tajay Spears was on the trajectory to pass Tony Pollard in the near future. So maybe they're 1A, 1B, but I think by the end of the year, I think you're right. I think Tajay Spears is the workhorse.
I mean, he's got plenty of money to open up his own barbecue place in town now.
That is true. Yeah.
I don't know if you guys caught that, but his family does own a barbecue place in Memphis. So
yes,
I have heard about that.
Yeah,
I will definitely eat there.
I knew you would love that. Hey, Memphis barbecue is real barbecue.
It's different.
That's
It's
the
delicious.
best.
Top notch.
Top notch. Okay, Treylon Burks. I think we all kind of expected this to happen with where the wide receiver room is on the first team. But Burks has kind of been taking second and third team snaps. A bit of a negative, especially where he was drafted number 16 overall last year, 2 years ago. Thank you. But that's not to say he's been disappointing, but there's not much of a sample size for me to work with here through 2 days. He did have one impressive catch a couple days ago. Levis actually on the first team dimed it a little bit. Not a full, deep throw, but nice slant, nice catch, broke a tackle, got in. Good for Burks. But that is not where if you would ask me 2 years ago where Treylon Burks would be in the year 2024, I would not be telling you he's taking second and third team reps. That's just not what I was hoping, not what anyone was hoping. Kind of a negative to see him where he is now. But in the words of Jared Stillman for our third negative, T'Vondre Sweat is huffing and puffing. Now he's on the field, which is good, but the conditioning needs some work. He needs to I know we're first couple days of practice, maybe it hasn't set in yet. Conditioning is all it takes, but he looks exhausted out there. He's only in there for maybe 2 to 3 snaps and then he'll rotate out, which isn't great. I don't want to see that in a live game scenario where, we need a third down run stop or something, and he's over on the sideline. And I don't know who's the one they brought in from Texas that is
Keandre
Cobert. I don't want to see him. I want to see T'Vondre Sweat. But yeah, I know I'm not trying to sunshine pump here or anything, as Jared would say, toxic positivity, but the positives have outweighed the negatives here. And I've believed that through my first couple days of being here. I expect to go out there again sometime here soon in the next couple weeks or so. But yeah, I mean, another positive I could say is Levis looks really, really comfortable. I kind of said that last segment, but he's stepping up in the pocket. He's got some good pocket presence. I haven't seen him take off for the scramble. I don't think he really will, just for the sake of install and the offense. But yeah, he looks great. The offense in general looks great. Calvin Ridley is as advertised. Let me tell you, he's quick. He can bring a ball down. And then, of course, D-Hop is your reliable veteran you're always going to have. D-Hop actually said the other day, this is the happiest he's ever been in an organization. So that's good.
Take that, Houston.
Take that, Houston. I would not be surprised if we see an extension here in the next year or so. But yeah, I mean, like I said, positives outweigh the negatives. I'm curious to hear what your takeaways from my takeaways are, but that's what I've seen so far from my first couple days.
I think you mentioned Treylon Burks and the wide receivers. I can't wait to see those joint practices with Seattle, because Seattle's got some dogs at cornerback. Tariq Woolen, Witherspoon, who they just drafted a year ago out of Illinois. Like, they've got some guys out there. I'm excited to see what not only Ridley and Hopkins do, but when Treylon Burks gets matched up with a really good corner on the other side I want to see if he can start to separate himself and start to make some plays.
The trash talk is going to be immaculate.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Jamal Adams was like, I can't really trash talk yet because I'm new and I'm kind of learning the system. But he said, best believe when I get in, it's coming.
Yeah, there's going to be at least one scrum. There always is, but Jamal Adams is going to start something in that week, I'm sure, against his former team.
Simmons has been kind of the leader in the clubhouse in the trash talk.
Right, but he's always that big talk for sure, from what we have all heard. But I'm interested to see if DeAndre Hopkins ends up going, I feel God, homie. I fear God. Like that one clip he had. I forget who it was against, but they was a joint practice a long time ago with
Yeah.
the Texans.
Against
it
Washington.
was
right?
was it
Josh
Josh
Norman.
No, it wasn't. It
No.
was D'Angelo Hall.
Yeah,
That's who
yeah,
it was.
Yeah. It
I
was him.
forgot about
It was
D'Angelo
D'Angelo Hall, old man D'Angelo at that point. Yeah, him and D Hop got after it. Not quite Andre Johnson, Cortland Finnegan, but close.
Pretty close. I mean, the thing you look at when you have scrums, you want to see how your team reacts to it. And if your team reacts to it as like a whole convoy of like a dog pound, then you know you got a good team, a good core, a good chemistry.
We're going to see some sort of, hopefully not a brawl, but some sort of like, there's
Scrum.
going to be some pushing and shoving with guys like Adams and Simmons and Hopkins who are going to be talking.
Good.
Which you need a little bit of that. I think if you're not fighting a little bit,
It's team bonding.
yeah, you gotta get a little bit of that. I'm sure that the coaches will be ready to break it up and make sure it doesn't escalate, but you need a little fire in there when you get those joint practices together. So excited for that. I believe that's in 3 weeks
Yeah, should be about 3 weeks.
because San Francisco is week 1 of the preseason.
Yep.
That's August 10th, and then the week after that, I think, is the joint
The
practices.
week of the 13th.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. So
Alright.
a little under 3 weeks away. Excited for that. And again, the Titans are out at Nissan Stadium today for their 3rd practice of training camp. So that should be fun as well. That wraps up hour number 1 here on 4's Company. When we come back, we're going to get back to our question of the day quickly before some more Titans talk, some Will Levis talk in hour number 2. Our question of the day: what is your favorite Olympic event? The Olympics are officially underway. Opening ceremonies last night. We've talked about a few of our favorites. We'll do a little bit more of that, but we want to hear from you. Text or call 615-737-1025. Our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Hour number 2 coming up next. You're on 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game, hour number 2 on this Saturday morning. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. Jake Lyman, Nick Keyser, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt alongside you. Talked a lot of Titans in hour number 1. Going to get back to Titans coming up here in hour number 2. A Pete Prisco article on Will Levis has made the rounds over the last couple days, talking about the potential of the Titans' second-year quarterback. And also Ryan Tannehill breaking his silence on the Scoop City podcast yesterday. We'll get to all of that coming up in hour number 2. But let's get back to our question of the day. What's your favorite Olympic event as the Olympics are officially underway in Paris after the opening ceremonies last night? We've talked about a few, but guys, do you have an event that sticks out to you? As Adam in Portland said, the one that you go and find the schedule and make sure that you're sitting on your couch for it.
I would say one that gives me Wii Sports vibes is fencing. I do find myself interested to see what those look like. I like the approach that they have. I would say the one that's more interesting to me that I like to watch more adamantly than I would fencing. Yes, it would be soccer, but we're not going to mention soccer. I would say for me, at least, would be volleyball.
It's a good one. Beach volleyball or regular? I think there's both.
I think
right?
It's just beach. Both. Is it both, or is it well? Either way, volleyball is what I always find myself watching. So
Germany took down Japan this morning. No, Japan's number 2 in the world.
Gotcha. Wow,
it was an impressive watch.
Okay,
did I see
5 sets?
The beach volleyball setup is like right underneath the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, it's like right next.
Super cool.
It's pretty neat.
That's sick.
I'm a big beach volleyball guy.
And no, it's fun.
It's not bad.
I got into it because of my coverage at Western Kentucky because they had one of the best programs.
Gotcha.
Really?
That was amazing. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Volleyball is really serious there.
Beach volleyball in Kentucky.
Yeah. Shout out to Travis Hudson. He is a goated coach there on campus. He's awesome. But anyway,
noted.
Well, again, if you have your thoughts on the Olympics, your favorite event, 615-737-1025. Our phone line is driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Connor Newt, you're not going last again. What event are you most excited for at the Summer Olympics?
Synchronized swimming.
That's a good one.
It's the most boring yet the most entertaining sport of all time. I don't know how they do it.
I'm gonna jump on with you there because synchronized diving is my favorite.
Yeah.
The last Olympics was in 2021, and I was out doing summer baseball. So like we'd get home from games at 11:30 at night and just turn on whatever was going on, and it was almost always diving. And it's so impressive the things that they're able to do, from like the high ones. Like they're doing like 3 flips and 2 twists, and they're hitting the water at the exact same time. It's impressive. I'm a big diving guy. I know there was a diving championship this morning. I missed it.
It was fun to watch.
The American team finished second, and their last names, Cook and Bacon. Those were the 2 names. Cook and Bacon.
Let's go to wake up for breakfast.
They won the silver medal. So, won that at like 4 a.m.
Cook and Bacon.
Cook and Bacon.
I think Gentry Estes actually is covering different things.
Yeah.
And that was one of them that he mentioned when he got there. He said one of the best name combinations, because he was at the press conference. He goes, Cook and Bacon. And I never thought that you would get here. And then it would be last names.
It's hilarious. And I'm just telling, like, the diving it's so much fun to watch. And usually I think China wins a lot of those. Like they're just the technique is just so perfect. But America's usually pretty good. Canada's usually pretty good. So I will be looking for the diving schedule to watch at least a little bit of that.
The color analyst this morning, when China was diving, it was hilarious because she was just digging into them. This was a 0.3 second off. This is unacceptable from them. I'm like, what? Like, to the naked eye, I was like, they hit the water exact same time and went under perfect.
I know.
Like there was nothing wrong.
The analysts on the diving are so funny because they're just a little bit too much splash that time. Like and look, you can see that her hands hit the water about a tenth of a second before the other. Like, and that's going to be a half-point deduction. I'm like, man, you got to be flawless at this, because I'll look at it and I'll be like, man, I don't think it gets much better than that. And they'll get like an 8 or something like that. And I'm like, wait, man, all right, harsh crowd.
Yeah, I don't know how they really judge it, like to be that meticulous about it, but just cut the people a little slack. That's all I'm saying.
What's your go-to event?
I'm gonna go. Obviously, rugby sevens is going on right now. Love me some rugby sevens. But I'm gonna go handball.
Handball is fun.
Handball is something that I never thought I'd be interested in. It is awesome. It's funny enough, true story. Newt's dad was my PE teacher back in grade school, and we actually played handball a handful of times. No pun intended there, but it just happened. Played a handful of times, and nobody really understood how to play it, but just bounce it every like 2 or 3 steps. And so we just went off that basis, and we just threw it in the back net. It was fun. It was a blast.
It is fun. It's like soccer, but with your hands.
Yeah.
Water polo is good too. That's a good one. Which is similar to handball, I guess. You're just in a pool.
Yeah.
Did you guys, when you were kids, did you ever play the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games?
Oh my
games?
gosh, yes.
Yes, on the Wii.
It was the London. I
There-
think it was
They had
based
Beijing
in London,
and
right?
London.
Yeah.
I think I saw that this is the first Olympics in a long time that hasn't had a video game of some sort associated with it.
Interesting.
Really?
They
but
could go back.
I remember those games. I played those games all the time. They were so much fun. They had the fencing and the track and field and swimming. So much fun.
So I don't know if you guys knew this about the awards. So there's a piece of the Eiffel Tower that is preserved, and it was part of the renovation that they had back in the 20th century. So there's pieces of the Eiffel Tower they're putting on Olympic medals this year.
Wow.
So I did not know if you guys knew that. Then also one other fact as well. I just found this little thread on Twitter, but there are 48 Olympians that are in this entire, botch of, different sports and games and whatnot. There's actually, one event that's 10,000 miles away in French territory, and that would be surfing. So
I love it.
technically,
sense.
it's, the Paris Olympics, but there's 48 Olympians that are 10,000 miles away surfing in French territory, which is really, really cool. It's Tahiti. So there you go.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm going to the Olympics. Oh, you're going to be in Paris. No, I'm in Tahiti, actually. Which honestly might be a better summer vacation spot to go to.
I agree.
To be fair.
I'm sure Paris is fun, but I'd rather go to Tahiti.
You guys ever surfed before?
I have not. I'm more of a boogie boarding guy.
We almost did on our honeymoon. It was a hot spot. There was a tournament there while we were there on the beach. So we were going to go watch. We never did, but it was also ridiculously cold. We did not have anything to do for surfing. So
I think is it true if you have a wetsuit on, you don't get cold or something like that?
You retain all your heat, I guess.
Gotcha.
I mean, you probably get cold, but yes, it
But
retains the body heat better.
Not hypothermia cold.
Right,
Yes.
right.
Newt, surfing, fan, not a fan? No.
I don't have the balance to surf.
Yeah. I just feel like your feet would slip off the board.
I'm not a beach guy in general.
Oh.
I don't like it.
The sand, not a fan.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and gets everywhere.
That's true. When you put
Let
your
me know if you don't
shoes
get
on,
that.
Oh, yeah.
it's over my head. Continue.
I don't want to keep going back to childhood nostalgia, but I will. Surf's Up is a great movie as well. If you guys,
The first one.
and
then they took
then
the
they did
second
the
one. They did
WWE
like a
one.
WWE WrestleMania one, and it took like a weird turn. And I was like, okay,
Is that the one with the penguins?
Yes, the Penguins Who Surf and Chicken Joe.
Chicken Joe?
Yes. So again, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. Surf's Up. 11-year-old Jake is loving that I'm bringing this up.
Cody.
How about that?
Cody.
Cody Maverick, one of the greatest surfers of all time.
He's like the Lightning McQueen of penguin surfing.
He is. That is exactly what he is.
No, he's Toe Mater in that movie, basically, because he's kind of dumb.
Talk about the
No, that's Chicken Joe.
Yeah,
Chicken
Chicken
Joe.
Joe.
Chicken
talking
Joe is the Toe Mater. Cody Maverick.
That's okay.
Is,
That's
uh,
right.
It's
Okay.
quite.
Is
It's literally
Lightning
just
McQueen.
Cars with penguins surfing,
It is. It's very, very similar.
but Cars is better.
Anyway, on a tangent here on 4's Company. If you want to jump in with your favorite Olympic event, whether it's surfing or whatever it is, text or call 615-737-1025. This
It's a show for every age group.
Yes. Yeah.
For the children out there.
If the 12-year-olds out there are listening, then we're bringing up cartoons on this Saturday morning. Isn't that Saturday morning cartoons?
Saturday
we gotta bring it up.
I was a little old for cartoons, well, I take that back. I still watch cartoons.
You had like Boomerang and stuff. From
Yeah,
Cartoon
Boomerang.
Network.
I was
Cartoon
never
Network.
a Boomerang fan.
Really?
The
No.
Jetsons? Are you kidding me?
PBS Kids.
The Flintstones.
I lived on
Yes.
Disney
PBS
XD.
Kids.
Yeah,
Oh,
Disney
wow.
XD was pretty popular.
Phineas and Ferb.
Ooh,
That
they're
was
bringing
all-
that back.
Why?
I don't know.
Leave it alone.
I saw
Why?
it.
That's the problem with this Hollywood today. Leave things alone.
Yeah,
We don't need new stuff.
They
Lots
are
of
doing more
reboots.
like they're doing a lot of everything. Like,
Yeah,
it's, you know,
everything
I
is getting
I
rebooted
just-
right now.
yeah.
Do want to see Twisters though. Haven't seen it
Yeah.
yet.
I saw it. It was very good.
Did
Lots
you
of-
did
lots
you
of
see
women.
it because you followed my advice?
No, not that night.
You're stranded in
no,
Norfolk
yeah,
with
in
no
Norfolk
game?
when we had the rain delay. Connor suggested I go see it that night. I did not see it then. I saw it on Monday, Tuesday, something like that. Deadpool and Wolverine coming out
Yeah,
this
it
weekend
came out
too.
Thursday, actually,
So
yeah.
I'm seeing that tomorrow.
Okay.
Can't wait. I'll come on with a review next week.
Haven't been to the
Or
movie
actually,
theater
no,
in
I
like
won't.
Spoiler
6 years,
free,
8
please.
years.
What was the last movie you saw?
I think it was like a Star Wars movie, and it was probably back in 20.
Oh, the bad ones?
No, it was the one where I forget the name of it.
It's
They're in
probably
a-
Force Awakens.
I know we got to go break, but it's
Yeah.
like the one where they're in a white desert and then
Last Jedi. That one was
Yeah.
awful.
yeah, that one.
Oh yeah,
I don't know what
is-
year that was. What?
That was I was still in high school, so
2018?
17, 18.
17?
Okay.
I think it was December 2017. If I
That sounds correct
I
because
think
I was
so.
still in high school as a senior, and I fell asleep in the movie theater.
You don't go to movies?
Nah, I don't like to.
I
Spend
mean,
my
I
money
don't go
there.
to many. If it's a big one, I'll go.
If I wait 6 months, it'll be on HBO or something.
I'm a big movie theater guy. Like,
I
you
am
give me
too.
some popcorn and a
Yes.
soda. Like,
yeah, I don't mind it.
I'm a big fan of going to the movies by yourself. Like,
Yes.
just like middle of the day, if I've got nothing to do, I love to go by myself and just sit there, have some popcorn. You get free refills.
Ooh,
I'm not a night movie person.
Me neither.
I like to come out of the theater and open up and just be blinded by
For sure.
the 4:00 sun.
Connor and I are on the same page.
yeah. I would like to see the 4DX. Is that the new thing?
Yeah, with the
nowadays?
twisters, like you get wet.
That just feels like
Wait,
too much.
really?
Yeah, like
that's-
you can turn
that's
the
too
water
much.
on and like
No.
you're shaking in the chair. Like
I just want to watch the movie.
I've
That's
heard
too much.
twisters in 40X is kind of crazy.
The women love the 4D version of Twisters. I hear so.
I think they love all versions of Twisters with Glenn Powell. Okay, we've gone too far. We found the line. It's time to take a break. We're going to get back to more Titans. 4's Company brought to you by LPL Financial Nashville and Patrick Conger. Investment advice for you in the short term and for the future. We're going to take a break. We need a break here. Titans talk coming up next. We're going to talk Titans quarterbacks, present and past. Will Levis having a couple of good days at camp. Pete Prisco was out there from CBS, and he had some thoughts on Will Levis, some good thoughts, and also Ryan Tannehill breaking his silence, talking about what he might be doing in the future on the Scoop City podcast. That's coming up next here on 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. This week's Nashville's best deal is tickets to the Nashville Sounds Home Run Derby X at First Horizon Park on Saturday, August 31st. Buy 2 tickets now for only $30 and watch as MLB legends, top female players, and local Middle Tennessee hitters compete in an exciting 3-on-3 co-ed competition. Buy your tickets now at thegamenashville.com/deals and be part of the Home Run Derby X excitement. Cool stuff out there at First Horizon Park. I know Nick Swisher and Manny Ramirez were out there earlier this week. That's August 31st, end of summer, same day as Vanderbilt and Virginia Tech here in town as well. So should be a fun Labor Day weekend. Jake Lyman, Nick Keyser, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt, 4's company here on the Saturday morning. We're back on the rails. Going to talk some Titans here in the next 2 segments. Pete Prisco came out with an article on Will Levis earlier this week, I believe yesterday, actually.
I think so, yeah.
And said that he believes Will Levis can be a top 5 to 10 quarterback in the NFL. Comparisons to Josh Allen. Ooh. Do you guys think you can get that much out of 2 non-padded practices to make those comparisons? And Jared made a good point that Pete Prisco was one of the few analysts who liked Will Levis coming out and maybe is trying to kind of confirm his opinions from a year and a half ago.
Yeah, it's interesting. Pete dives in and he says, quote, "We know the skill set is there by watching his throws as a rookie last year. The power, the power and arm, the quick release, but it's the drive and determination of scheduling workouts in paradise that will make him into a big-time NFL quarterback." And look, he goes on to kind of talk about how, it's important to him, to make sure that he has that leadership quality to go out and be above and beyond for a leader. And it's interesting that he also throws in those names of Matthew Stafford, Derek Carr, Joe Burrow. And also it's worth noting, he was able to be coaching Joe Burrow, Callahan last year and for the last few years. I don't know if it's that comparable yet. I mean, you want it to be there, but do you guys think it's a lot easier to say the next 3 years? Maybe. I don't know. That might be not, I don't think that's outlandish, but I think this expectation is a tad outlandish, honestly.
I mean, you guys know where I stand on this. I mean, I'm not saying Will Levis is a terrible quarterback, but I don't think he's, the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, you know what I mean? Like he's not better than Josh Allen, nor do I think Josh Allen is, excuse me, I don't think Josh Allen's amazing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, although I did say Kyler Murray would be on my fantasy team, so never mind. Take that back.
It's a pen, not pencil, by the way.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
Sharpie.
Yeah, Sharpie. With that, like, I think Josh Allen's a great quarterback. I think Will Levis is a good quarterback in due time, and the Titans are going to be stuck in a situation where they're going to have to re-sign him because, like I said before at the start of the show, quarterbacks are a delicate position, and if you don't have one, you're going to be forced to sign Will Levis to another deal. And I'm not saying he can't be great. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I don't see it yet.
And these teams, they're scared that, hey, if we don't re-sign this guy, what if we're stuck in quarterback purgatory for the next 5 to 10 years? So you kind of feel like you have to if a guy shows potential. Guys, I'm going to say I'm ready to get hurt again. I am in on Will Levis.
Oh, no.
I don't know what it is. And you know what? Actually, I do know what it is, and I'm going to tell you. The Titans, in the Titans era, have now drafted 4 quarterbacks with first to borderline first-round picks.
Okay.
Vince Young, Jake Locker, Marcus Mariota, and now Will Levis. The others didn't work out. I think Will Levis is because he has the aura to do it.
Oh, God, here we go. The aura. How many points does he have? How many points are taken off? Oh, my gosh.
I think he has the aura.
Yeah.
He carries himself with confidence. Like, that was Marcus Mariota's biggest problem. He had all the talent in the world.
He had aura, though. He won the Heisman.
That
he had mono.
He lost all aura points after 2017.
Okay, that's fair. But I'm just saying.
Marcus didn't have the swagger and the confidence to say, you know what? I can make that throw. I can make any throw. Mm-hmm. Will Levis has that. And you see the arm talent. Like that, the 4th touchdown against the Falcons was where I was like, all right, the Titans might have something. Fading away and dropping it in the bucket to Nick Westbrook-Akina.
That was really special.
Across the field. There are only a few quarterbacks in the league who can make that throw.
Yeah, I mean, people were that throw. remember hearing some people saying that's like Aaron Rodgers,
Yes.
So
And Jake Locker and Marcus Mariota, I never felt they had the aura of an NFL quarterback.
Locker had negative aura.
It just felt like they were just there. Like they weren't a leader on the team. It felt like they were just like, I'm going to go about my business. And I'm sure that they had leadership qualities.
yeah,
Right.
But Will Levis just feels like he's got the it factor.
he does. And one thing I want to point out from this story, because we're mentioning Pete here in his story, he's got Callahan quote, "I don't see Will Levis, the college kid. I see Will Levis, the pro quarterback. His demeanor and the way he communicates and speaks is much different than a lot of the stuff that was out there." So look, Locker was locked in his own box of expectation. You've also now got Will Levis who's in. And I think his demeanor, yes, has changed, but it's about how he handles it in the biggest situations on the field. This week, like Newt mentioned in Newt's notes, which go back and listen on our podcast, but I think it's interesting that he's not thrown a deep ball yet. I want to see that rhythm come out of him. When we have a rhythm, I'll know more.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at too. But like you were saying about, you don't want to break your heart. He doesn't want to break your heart. That's where I'm at. That's why I'm not fully bought in yet, because being in this market since inception for myself, being born here, I've seen it. Like I've seen the heartbreak. I don't want to have to relive that again and again and again. And so I got to believe it. I mean, I got to see it to believe it.
We have PTSD.
We do.
Post-Titan stress disorder.
I just can't help it.
I mean, I remember that Denver game with Marcus where he got benched, and I could go back and find the tweet, but I tweeted out, "It's over, time to it." And I was so sad in realizing that it's over for Marcus because I believed in that guy with my full heart. I mean, you can ask anybody in my high school. I was Marcus till I die.
Oh no!
And it hurt at the end. But I'm ready. I'm opening up my heart to Will Levis. I believe in him. I believe that Will Levis is going to end up being the franchise quarterback. I could be wrong.
Let's hope so.
But there's something about him that makes you feel like he's just got what it takes to do it at this level. And I could be wrong. He could come out against the Bears and throw 4 picks in week 1 and end up getting benched by the middle of the season. But I just don't. I think he's got the talent. I think he's got the confidence. The biggest question is the decision making. And I think that's what we're going to find out this year.
Yeah.
And if he has that, I think he's going to be the Titans guy for at least a second contract.
That's what Callahan wants. Callahan wants him to make the decisions. And I think they're going to challenge him above and beyond maybe what he was last year, because now he has the expectation of being quarterback 1. I mean, he's been carrying, like you said, he's been having that aura. This is what he does with teams that he's excelled with. And Newt, you can probably attest on this perfectly watching him at Kentucky.
I was literally going to say,
Yeah.
I speak firsthand when I say this is a different Will Levis
Yes.
than he was in college.
And it should be. If it's not a different Will Levis, if you're not a different person, but if you carry the same characteristics, that takes you above and beyond what people think of you and what you think of yourself. So I think it's going to be a big year for him as well. You have to hope that it is. I mean, there's a lot of weight on a guy like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very curious to see how he does in joint practices. That's what I care more about right now than anything.
Yeah.
I mentioned I want to see him with that rhythm of, okay, can he hit the deep ball? Can he find consistency with a guy like D-Hop or Calvin Ridley or even Tyler Boyd, which clearly so far he's done okay with. So we'll have to find out soon.
I'm a believer. I think Will Levis is going to be the Titans franchise quarterback, and he will do I will make this prediction. I think he will do what the other 3 weren't able to do, and that is get a second contract
Jake
with the
Lyman,
Titans.
honorary member of the BBN.
Clip it.
There we go.
Welcome
Yes.
in.
Put me in Wildcat Nation.
Welcome,
Big
coal
Blue
miner.
Nation. 615-737-1025 is our phone number if you want to chime in on Will Levis. But we're going to get to his predecessor coming up next. Ryan Tannehill breaking his silence on the Scoop City podcast for The Athletic, talking about what he's been doing and that moment where the Titans called him and said they were taking Will Levis. Is he going to play this year? We're going to talk about that coming up next. 4's Company here on this Saturday morning, 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
Hey, what's up? It is Chase McCabe. I'm at Bicentennial Mall today. Subway has transformed its all-new foot-long dippers into the world's first 95-foot-long dip and slide here in Nashville. They got these slides set up. They're awesome. And you can come out here, and they have 3 95-foot-long Subway dip and slides, speed down a 37-foot drop through a lavish flatbread tunnel, only to splash into delicious pools of Baja Chipotle, peppercorn ranch, and honey mustard sauce, which is water with saucy consistency. You can also try the dippers for free. They have 3 tasting cabanas with Subway's 11 signature sauces on tap. I'm definitely going to partake in that. They got live music and games. You can stop by DJ Doritos booth and grab a bag of Doritos sweet and tangy barbecue chips, which you can find at Subway restaurants for a limited time. So we're out here till 2 o'clock today. Come by, say hello. You can sign up to win things with us as well. Each reservation includes 30 minutes for unlimited rides. You can find the full rules, all the requirements, subwaydipandslide.com. They also have people here to set up. You got to be 18 years or older to do this as well. 10 to 2 Bicentennial Mall. Spots are limited, so make sure you register, subwaydipandslide.com, and come and see us here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
You're not on a team right now. What does it feel like not going to training camp?
Honestly, it feels good. It's pretty good. It's a weird feeling, right? It's a weird feeling just because I've done it for so long and loved every step of the way. But my son's birthday is tomorrow. I'm gonna get to celebrate my son's birthday fully and not be in training camp. So I'm really excited for that. Just spending a lot of quality family time together. But yeah, it's a weird feeling. I'm staying in shape and staying ready if the right thing pops up and comes available, but also at the same time just really enjoying where I'm at and the time with the family.
That was Ryan Tannehill talking about his situation right now, not signed to an NFL team after leaving the Titans this past offseason. Spend time with the family. Doesn't seem to be in any rush to make a move to get with the team during training camp. Jake Lyman, Nick Keiser, Nick Frazier, Connor Newt with you. We're not going to stop believing here on 4's Company.
And Ryan shouldn't either. Go get you a job, Ryan.
Well, that's the question I want to ask you guys. Ryan Tannehill, I don't know about you, but that's a guy who sounds pretty happy talking with Diana Rossini and Chase Daniel on the Scoop City podcast. Seems pretty happy to be spending time with his family in July and August instead of being out there getting ready for another season. I kind of feel like unless something perfect comes down the line for Ryan Tannehill, I don't think he's getting off the couch.
No, guys, it sounds like he's looking for a clear cut. I'm here to start. It's a Joe Flacco spot where he knows, all right, I'm here to make a difference. So we'll find out if there's an injury during one of these camps. He did say how he's been staying ready. I think it's as ready as possible, more than likely. It's just conditioning wise. Now, obviously, if he's not on the field for training camp, he's got to figure out, his dynamic once again. That always is going to happen. But that interview was pretty telling. And listening to that yesterday, just in terms of where he is, he's better off to just stay home, I think. And then if he does get a call, he gets a call. But I told the guys on Friday, I personally think he will be on an NFL roster this season, just not week 1. Do you guys agree?
I'd agree to that. I mean, there's a team in mind that I've already mentioned this past week on the air, and it was the Pittsburgh Steelers. One because like I know they have a loaded quarterback room, or not loaded, but congested quarterback room. Better way to put that. Russell Wilson has, I think, a calf strain right now, dealing with that. I just think the old days of Russell Wilson being productive are just kind of gone. Obviously, he had a decent season with Denver, but not great. As for Justin Fields, taking first team reps at training camp, a solid quarterback, but we all know what happened in Chicago. He was running the ball more than throwing the ball in some regard, and a lot of people got frustrated with that. I think Eberflus got frustrated with that. Wide receivers got frustrated with that. And with this wide receiver core in Pittsburgh, definitely could see that whole entire offense getting a little frustrated as well if that were to happen. And if that's the case, your offensive coordinator is Arthur Smith, and none other than Ryan Tannehill being available. You have an offense that's ready to win. Najee Harris, Roman Wilson, what's his name?
George Pickens.
Thank you. Pat Fryermuth. You have everybody. You have everybody under the sun. I mean, it's a far-fetched thought, but at the same time, like if the stars align, I think that's a hotbed for Ryan Tannehill.
And I think that was the line everybody kind of drew when Arthur Smith took that job. But then obviously Steelers went another way with Wilson Fields. But some injuries, maybe some poor play. I could see it. I'm going to say I don't think Tannehill plays this year. I think there's a chance that we have seen Ryan Tannehill's last NFL snap. You listen to him on that podcast. He's got 2 young kids. He's got hobbies. He's got hundreds of millions of dollars that he's made in his career. Unless it's perfect for him. And he's from Florida, so let's say Miami may not be reasonable, but let's say like Baker Mayfield gets hurt in Tampa Bay and they need a quarterback and he's close to home and that they say, hey, come on for the last 9 games of the season and try and keep us afloat. I think maybe that happens. But, like let's say Jordan Love gets hurt in Green Bay. Like, do I think Ryan Tannehill's going all the way up to Wisconsin
Probably not.
to play for a couple $1 million? Like, I say that a couple $1 million obviously is a lot of money, but for a guy who has made hundreds of millions of dollars in his career,
Right.
I think it would take a lot to get him to leave his family and go somewhere with not great weather. I think if it were me in his shoes, again, he mentions his son's birthday is this week, and this is probably the first time he's been able to celebrate his son's birthday fully without anything going on in a long time. I think he's going to enjoy having some time off with his family, and I think there's a chance that nothing ever comes his way that he feels is worth it.
Yeah, he may feel that this is the life for me now. And to date, right now, according to Spot Rack, Ryan Tannehill has made $195 million in his NFL career, by the way. So there is that as well. So
don't forget about the Celsius money too.
Yeah, exactly. So he's, and hey, maybe some fishing endorsements end up coming across his table as well. Certainly possibility, but it is unique that this is a quarterback that is probably the best one left on the market. I mean, there are some serviceable guys, but not in terms of filling in and making a difference. I also thought maybe what if the experiment goes wrong in Denver? Could that be a possibility?
That was my thinking.
What if Aaron Rodgers goes kaput one more time? I know that what you mentioned, he may not think about going to a team that, is a cold weather place. I think he'll take any opportunity that he can if it's a playoff team and he thinks he could possibly win with. And also that dynamic of Florida sounds interesting too. What if Baker goes down? What if Baker isn't what they think he is? That's certainly a good idea.
What about this? Are you ready for this? Just hold your britches together.
Oh, I got it.
How about this? Minnesota.
They've got Darnold and McCarthy, though. Which
I don't think that's a big factor in my opinion.
Let me pose a question at you, and I'll give you my reaction after I get yours.
Okay.
What if a team goes after him to use him as like a utility guy? Maybe as a receiver.
I don't think he would do receiver, dude. No way.
I'm just saying.
Full circle for Ryan
Full
Tannehill.
circle.
Start his career as a wide receiver.
Ended as well. I don't think so.
I don't think so either. But I've been seeing conversations on like Twitter of people saying, it could work out well for him. I don't see it personally, but hey,
it's a good thing to put out there, though.
Good thing to put out.
I like Minnesota. I know that sounds crazy to say, but Sam Darnold, when he was in Carolina, he had a short stint of like good success.
Yeah.
And then it, was short lived and then they ended up being bad. And So I don't think JJ McCarthy's ready yet as a starting quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
And so why not bring in a guy like Ryan Tannehill? Because I feel like Justin Jefferson, a guy that wants targets, is going to be a little frustrated if he doesn't get the ball.
Well, Adam in Portland says his hot take is Trevor Lawrence sizzles out and Tannehill pushes the Jags to the playoffs. I would rebuttal it. Why not go to Mac Jones? No, I'm just kidding. But
Well, I mean,
Did you see that Mac Jones pass yesterday?
Yep.
Yeah, reports out of Jacksonville are the offense is really, really struggling. Which I guess we all could have kind of seen coming.
A little bit, yeah.
You know, you lose Calvin Ridley, and you think Gabe Davis will replace him. I'm not so sure about that.
Paid him like $80 million.
They play Gabe like the Jaguars. And I'm not trying to say Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk are bad wide receivers,
Yeah.
but they're getting paid like they're top 40 wide receivers in the
Devontae
league, and I
Adams
don't know
worthy.
if they are.
I wonder if it'd be a headline right now. Ridley stunning at offense with the Jags at camp. Like everyone else sucks.
Well, I know Titans Twitter has started to get after Jags
I
fans who
bet.
say that Ridley was the reason the offense struggled last year. He dropped so many passes and all this stuff. So I know I've seen Titans fans anytime tweet of like Trevor Lawrence intercepted by Andrew Wingard. It's like, how did Ridley do this? And force that interception. Here's my last thought on Ryan Tannehill. I know the one thing that you might think is, well, he wants to win a Super Bowl. I think that if he wanted to win a Super Bowl, I think the Chiefs or the 49ers or one of these contenders would have loved Ryan Tannehill to be their backup quarterback.
Right.
I don't think Ryan Tannehill wants to do that. That's my main thought is that I think there's not a lot of motivation for him to come back. If he wanted to win a Super Bowl, he would do it as a backup.
Yeah.
And if he wanted to be on a team where he could compete to start, there are opportunities out there for him.
Sure.
If he wanted more money, there's opportunities out there for him. I think that Tannehill has taken his lumps, especially in the last 2 years, and he's made his money. He's had a lot of success in his career. I think he might be done.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be the next Chad Henne of any other team.
That's what I'm like.
Yeah.
I just don't see him going and voluntarily being the backup, but I also don't see him being Joe Flacco and coming off the couch. It could happen. If there's a perfect situation for him, I think it could happen, but I don't think Ryan Tannehill is outwardly looking to get back into the league right now.
I don't think so either, but time will tell. We'll have to find out if someone gives him a call. It's certainly kind of like, I kind of got the vibe, and he didn't say it, but I kind of got the vibe that teams were at least interested.
Yeah.
And have reached out to him about playing because he said it felt good to not, like, he sounded elated that he was not at a training camp. So if that's the case, who has he talked to? Who has given him the idea, on its face of, we really think you could come in and really help these guys learn. I remember obviously going back to Willis when he got here, I don't need to mentor that guy or whatever. Like, it was overhyped that was the thing that he said. It wasn't really meant that way, but
yeah.
I mean, could he go somewhere and help a team out? Sure, absolutely. We've thrown out those ideas of where he could go. If the Patriots suck, if like Jacoby Brissett is awful, does Tannehill consider stuff like that? Like you said, I don't see him wanting to go to a place that he can't do at least some winning at. So
also his thought about Will Levis and Malik Willis, that saying I don't have to be his mentor.
Yeah.
There was an NFL coach. Thank you for bringing that up, by the way.
Yeah.
There was an NFL coach that commented on that and said that he doesn't have to be a mentor. And it was Mike Tomlin with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh,
there you
go. So I'm just putting an assumption out there.
Ah.
Just put that out there. But food for thought.
Well, and Ryan Tannehill, I believe his exact words were, "It's not my job to be his mentor."
That's right. Yes.
But if he learns something while we're together, then that's a great thing.
But that still sounded so outlandish for him. I mean, why even make the comment?
At the time he was sour.
Sounded so bitter. Yeah.
I think it does. And he mentioned it because Diana asked about the Michael Penix situation in Atlanta, and he said, "I've been there, and it's not a fun place to be." And that's another reason why I think Ryan Tannehill might be out, because I don't know if you would want to go to like the Patriots, like you said. Like, if Brissett's not very good, I don't know if he would want to go to the Patriots where
Mm.
Drake May is looking over his shoulder and the fans are
Right.
calling for Drake May to start. You could hear in his voice how happy he was to be spearfishing and flying and
Yeah.
spending time with his family. I don't know.
Could you imagine if, and this will not happen because of the depth they have and who they signed, but what if, and I'm just saying, what if, where is the former coach of the Titans? Mike Vrabel is in Cleveland. What if Deshaun Watson is hurt, or if they just go, we're done? And then it's Jameis and Tyler Huntley, Pro Bowler, by the way.
Pro Bowl Tyler Huntley, correct.
What if Tannehill ends up in a place that's familiar? Yeah, we've got, Arthur Smith is in one idea. What about Mike Vrabel, saying, hey, this guy's got some good talent. Why not give him a flyer? I don't know.
If things go south in Cleveland, I'm sure Mike Vrabel would be
Sure.
In Kevin Stefanski's ear saying,
They're going to
hey,
go with DTR, though. DTR is the guy.
God, they've got all of the quarterbacks up there. Huntley, Winston, DTR. Is Deshaun Kaiser still there?
He is not. I
I'm
think
just
he
kidding.
retired.
Notre Dame legend.
He's been gone for a while.
Talk about some training camp darlings. There you go.
Yeah,
That's a whole list
that
of
is
them.
true. That is true. 615-737-1025 is our phone number. Our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show. Weekend picks. We've got some baseball for you, some Olympics, and our wild card, as always. 4's Company, Saturday mornings, 1025, 1063 The Game.
Hey, it's Chase McCabe out here at Bicentennial Mall today. Subway has transformed this place with their all-new foot-long dipper slides, 95-foot-long dipping slides here in Nashville. They got 3 of them. You can speed down a 37-foot drop through a lavish flatbread tunnel, only to splash into delicious pools of Baja Chipotle, peppercorn ranch, and honey mustard sauce. It's just water with saucy consistency. They're really cool. I walked around, checked them out. Definitely having a lot of fun. You got to be 18 years or older to do this, though. So keep that in mind. They got live music and games. You can stop by the DJ Doritos booth and grab a bag of Doritos sweet and tangy barbecue chips, which you can find at Subway restaurants for a limited time. For more information, go to subwaydipandslide.com. That's subwaydipandslide.com. You gotta register ahead of time, and once you do, each reservation, 30 minutes of unlimited rides and all 3 of the dip and slides. It's a great day for it. So come by, say hello to us. We got our booth set up. You can sign up to win things. Come on out, Bicentennial Mall. We're here 10 to 2, so until 2 o'clock today. Come and hang out and see us. Chase McCabe, 1025, 1063 The Game.
And now the end is near. And so I face the final curtain.
Yeah, sing it.
Nick Frazier.
My friend, I'll say it clear. I'll state my case.
Do we need to replace
which
weekend
I'm
picks
certain.
with weekend karaoke?
I love it.
I was gonna roll with Grove Street, but this may be the new song.
Maybe it is.
Maybe it is.
Nick Frazier showing off the pipes this morning as we wrap up the show.
And more.
What's more than this?
I
did it my way.
Beautiful. Love me some Frank Sinatra.
You can hear the collective of all of Nashville turning their radio dials right now.
This isn't as bad as me singing Western Kentucky's fight song live on air.
Boo.
Keezer remembers that one well.
Yeah.
Time to do it our way. Weekend picks. Wrapping up the show here on 4's Company. Lots to get to. Coming up on the station at 5:30, Yankees Red Sox. The rivalry is renewed. You can listen right here on The Game. Let's pick that one first. Connor Newt, go first for us.
Whoa. I wasn't even listening. I was trying to get this down because I'm doing producing. What was the thing?
Yankees Red Sox.
Oh, give me Red Sox. Yankees struggling as of late. Jarren Duran, I believe. Is that his name?
Jarren Duran.
Duran?
Mhm.
Electric. Every ball he puts up is gone. So, yeah, give me the Red Sox. I think this will be relatively high scoring, too. Give me Red Sox 6-4.
Nick Frazier.
This is in the Bronx, right?
I
Let's
believe so.
see.
I think it is. Last series was in Boston. I'm gonna
Yes,
go.
it is at Fenway.
I'm gonna go Yankees to win today and Verdugo to hit a home run.
Ooh.
Just because Verdugo's former team, something about it. Just gonna.
The suit has chimed in on our singing.
Oh no.
He's asked us to please stop.
Oh, boy.
Please.
Is it breaking earbuds? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna take Verdugo to get a homer there.
Nick
There you
Keezer.
I'm going to go Red Sox as well. They just beat the Yankees 9-7 last night. So we'll find out if they can keep that rolling or not. But like you guys mentioned, the Mets also swept the Yankees recently.
They did.
So that is not looking great. It's like I would say it's pretty grim for the Yankees right now.
I'll go Yankees. I
Oh.
think Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, middle of that order, too good.
Too good
It
to
is
be
in
true.
Fenway, but I will go with the Yankees
It is in
on the
Fenway.
road
Yeah, it is Fenway.
tonight.
Sticking with it.
Our second pick today, I kind of went off the board here. We've been talking Olympics. Pick any Olympic gold medalist. This can be a team. This can be an athlete. What do we got?
Oh man,
Nick
Connor.
Keezer, lead us off here if you got it. Or I can go first if you guys need
you
a second
can if
to
you
think.
want to. Yeah.
I am going to go with our man from the USA, Noah Lyles, to win the 100-meter dash. I think Noah Lyles will be the fastest man on earth in the 100 meters in Paris this year.
Okay.
Chime in as you guys have what you're going with.
Sha'Carri Richardson to be a gold medalist in the 200.
There we go.
That is, I'm locking that one in. I'm sold.
Cha-ching.
Cha-ching. Ching ching.
I don't know. I really wanted to talk about the U.S. men's basketball team, but
You can go with that one.
yeah,
You
There's
shouldn't,
there's no
because
limits.
I really don't.
You
yeah.
shouldn't, because the one that is now going last again wants that one.
You're going to go last sometimes. I'm just making sure you're not going
No,
last every
never.
time.
Hey, Connor, I'll go last. How about that next time? You go with that?
No,
No?
I want it my way.
Oh, there we go.
Call back.
Should we start singing again?
I don't know.
Regrets. We've had a few regrets. I don't know. I'm gonna go over to the world of table tennis just because.
Yeah.
Why not? I've heard a lot of good things about China. They are really good at that.
And badminton.
They are good at that as well. I've been looking that up for the last few days. But the men's singles and whatnot is coming up on the 29th. So I'll say China takes the men's singles. Yeah. I mean,
Hey, going with the ping pong.
limited,
Yeah.
limited research, but enough to feel confident.
I believe I don't know why I looked this up a while ago, but I think badminton, like you mentioned, they're good at that. But
Yep.
Denmark won the gold medal last time. So
Really?
who knows? Maybe China will have to get it back. Connor Newt, what's your pick?
I'm going to swerve you. Give me Katie Ledecky to win a gold medal.
Oh,
Big swerve.
The
Lock
odds on
that one
that
in,
might be
too.
like minus 5,000 or something like
Ching.
that.
Yeah, it's easy money. But
can I throw another one in real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Carlos Alcaraz, gold medal in tennis.
There you go. That's
He's
a good one.
gonna ball out. He's the next big thing.
He's been on a roll.
Who is I'll go with the US to win the team gold in golf too. I'll throw that in there. I think they had a bad showing at the Ryder Cup. I think they bounce back and take this one. Last one, wild card. Connor Newt, you can go first. What's your wild
no,
card?
I'm not ready.
Okay,
Oh,
fine. Then
sorry.
Nick Frazier.
My wild card, I'm going to go with, oh boy, I'm going to the NRL. And I know the Broncos played at midnight today, and they lost, unfortunately, to the Bulldogs, which is the favorite team of Patrick Yazbek, the new Nashville Seahawks signing.
Wow.
So
Very cool.
found that out the other day that he's a big NRL fan. But as for tonight, it might be morning. I'm going to go with the Panthers to beat the Dragons and beat them by, I don't know, 15, 20. Let's go 10.
There you
Just
go.
Play it safe.
Nick Easer.
I was trying to find if they have a game. They do. I'm gonna go with the Mariners over the White Sox. I think it was Randy Arozarena just got traded to
Correct.
the Mariners. So I lean more Rays. So I'm gonna cheer for the player to win and perhaps what I think is his debut. I think he would be there by now.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Trade deadline coming up Tuesday.
They're in Chicago, so I would assume he made that trip. So
Wednesday.
Hopefully.
Wednesday's the trade day.
yeah,
trade
Wednesday.
deadline.
I think is
Wednesday.
right. Yeah.
Connor Newt.
Now I'm ready. I'm going to go back to La Familia again. The Kentucky alum team in the TBT plays the Louisville alum team
Oh,
in the
wow.
TBT. And
Rivalry.
a big one. Rivalry. It transcends all sports.
Love
Go
it.
Big Blue. Give me La Familia.
Love it. I will go back to baseball. Speaking of the trade deadline, could be Tarek Skubal's last start as a Tiger. Unlikely, but could be today. I'll take the Tigers to beat the Twins in the AL Cy Young favorites' possible final start in a Tigers uniform. That wraps it up for us. We got the Twister. We got the Twisters song here. If you missed our conversation on the Twisters movie, it's on the podcast.
Check it
right
out.
around 10:15. Fun show today, guys. I will not be here next week, but then after that, I think we should be good up until football season.
Dude, you
So,
take more vacations than Jared.
I was good for the first few months of this show.
Nah, Jared's gone more.
That wraps it up. 4's Company. We'll talk to you next week. 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
See ya.
Riding that storm, run through my veins like a shot down tailspin airplane.